स्लो हो रहा है, साउंड नहीं आ रहा। वन वन मिनट, साउंड नहीं आ
Sir, a very warm good afternoon and namaskar to all the esteemed dignitaries, member of Odisha State Open Universities, present both online and offline, and dear learned participants. On the occasion of International Women's Day, and to glorify the importance of a woman not only in our life but also the society as well, Odisha State Open University have organized a webinar on the broad theme that is hashtag Break the Bias. The objective of the webinar is to provide an insight on promoting gender equality, empowerment of women, and elimination of violence against women. She is a warrior. She is like a fresh dew in the petal of flower. She is love. She bears life and she is life. She plays a varied role in her entire life, a mother, a daughter, a wife, and a sister. Even our Vedas glorify a woman as a nari. Yatra narestu pujayante ramanet tatra devata, which means where women are honored, divinity blossoms there. With this, I, Rita Singh, the coordinator for today's webinar, would like to start the webinar with the due permission of our Honorable Vice-Chancellor, sir.
Please go ahead.
I would like to brief the agenda of today's event. It will start with the recitation of Auspicious Sloka by one of our members, addressed by our dignitaries, and finally, vote of thanks by my colleague. Now I'll request Pratap Kumar Meher sir to kindly deliver the auspicious sloka to seek the blessing of the Almighty. Sir, please.
ॐ सं नो मित्रः सं वरुणः सं नो भवतुर्यमा सं नो इन्द्रो बृहस्पतिः सं नो विष्णुर्क्रमः नमो ब्रह्मणे नमस्ते वायो तमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मासि तमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्म वदिष्यामि ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्माम् तद्वक्तारम् अवतु माम् अवतु वक्तारम् ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः।
Thank you, Pratap sir, for delivering such a wonderful and soothing sloka. Now I'll request our esteemed COF sir, Shri Nalini Ranjan Sarangi, to address the gathering. Sir, please.
Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon to all. First of all, my wishes to all women employees of OSOU and all women participants of this webinar. Very, very happy International Women's Day. Honorable Vice-Chancellor, sir, Honorable Registrar, sir, esteemed guest of honor, Mrs. Minati Bindhani, Madam, General Secretary, Women and Child Welfare Society, Cuttack, esteemed speaker, Dr. Tanushree Purohit, Madam, Associate Professor, Amity University, Haryana, and all the participants of the webinar and all the staff members of OSOU. First of all, I welcome to you all to this webinar and wishes once again all women employees of OSOU very, very happy International Women's Day. As you know, International Women's Day is celebrated on 8th March every year. This year, this day is being celebrated in the world under the theme Gender Equality Today for a Sustainable Tomorrow and call for climate action for women by women. As all of you know, gender inequality and climate changes are the most urgent challenge of today. With the latest data, we now understand the vital link between gender, social equity, and climate change, and recognize that without gender equality today, a sustainable future and equal future remains out of reach. Women and girls experience the greatest impacts of the climate crisis as it amplifies existing gender inequalities and puts women's lives and livelihood at risk. Across the world, women depend more on yet have less access to natural resources and often bear a disproportionate responsibility for securing food, water, and fuel. As women and girls bear the burden of climate impact, they are also essential to leading and driving change in climate adaptation, mitigation, and solutions. Without the inclusion of half of the world's population, it is unlikely that solutions for a sustainable planet and a gender equal world tomorrow will be realized. And once again, I wish all the women employees and all the women participants on this very International Women's Day. And with this, I conclude my address to the members and thank you all.
Thank you, sir, for delivering such a beautiful insight on the topic. Now I'll request our esteemed registrar, sir, Dr. Manas Ranjan Pujari, to address the gathering. Sir, please.
Thank you, Rita. Esteemed Vice-Chancellor, sir, respected Chief Speaker, Dr. Tanushree Purohit, Madam, revered guest of honor, Mrs. Minati Bindhani, Madam, my colleague, Sri Sarangi, Comptroller of Finance, Odisha State Open University, dear participants, learners. I extend my hearty congratulations to all the women on the occasion of the International Women's Day. My heartfelt gratitude to all the women on the occasion of the International Women's Day for making all of us what we are today. We do not have existence without them. Celebrating the International Women's Day has become customary and annual ritual. We all have heard about how the celebration started in the early 20th century, when 15,000 women marched through the streets of New York demanding shorter working hours, better pay, and voting rights. In the Second International Conference of Working Women at Copenhagen, Clara Zetkin, leader of Social Democratic Party of Germany, floated the idea for celebration of International Women's Day. Initially, it was celebrated on the last Sunday of February until 1912. Subsequently, March 8 was fixed as the International Women's Day in 1913. The United Nations recognized it and started celebrating it from the year 1975. Thus, we have more than 100 years of history when we celebrate the International Women's Day. That gives us enough reason for introspection and analysis as regards the status of women today. In the last 100 years, we have seen women reaching unprecedented heights in their profession and vocations. Many of them have become inspirations to us. In all walks of life, politics, economics, industry, banking, art, literature, sports, academics, etc., we have seen women excelling and standing alongside men. They have been able to break the stereotypes and have become role models. While celebrating the day in all its grandeur gives us a glorious picture of women and their achievement. But is that the reality? Statistics point to the contrary. Violence against women, discrimination at workplace, sexual harassment, domestic violence, incidents of rape, etc., are on the rise all the time. Many legislations and legal provisions have been put in place, but still the situation remains the same. Sometimes one has to ponder whether societal values and attitudes have anything to do with it. Patriarchy has been a given fact in most of the societies for a very very long period of time. Unless there is a change in society's attitude towards this, there may not be any tangible change. As Gandhi said, be the change you want to see. Each one of us must change accordingly. If I change myself, I can influence my family and my near ones. Someday, it may lead to a social movement kind of situation where women will really get their dues. Instead of paying lip service, we must learn to shed hypocrisy and really walk the talk to really change the status of women. OSOU has been a champion of women's cause ever since its inception. They have been the mainstay of the organization. We have tried to provide a congenial working environment to them and will continue to do that. On the occasion of the International Women's Day, I once again congratulate all our women colleagues in the university. I'm sure today's session will be very informative and fruitful for all of us as we have some very knowledgeable speakers amidst us. I'm grateful to all of you for giving me the opportunity to speak a few words. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. It was indeed very informative. Imagine a gender equal world, a world free of bias, stereotype, and discrimination, a world that is diverse, equitable, and inclusive, a world where difference is valued and celebrated. Together, we can forge women's equality, and collectively, we can all break the bias. With this, I would like to introduce the man who embodies elegance, the man of perfection, our Honorable Vice-Chancellor Sir, Professor Arka Kumar Das Mohapatra. Before taking over as the Vice-Chancellor of Odisha State Open University, he had discharged several responsibilities in Sambalpur University. He is an eminent personality from the field of education and have 3 decades of teaching experience. He owns 7 patents and have visited different countries for academic purpose. We welcome you, sir. Sir, please.
Thank you, Rita. Good afternoon to everyone. The esteemed uh, guest of honor, Ma'am Minati Bindhani, um, the General Secretary, Women and Child Welfare Society, Cuttack, the speaker of this webinar, Dr. Tanushree Purohit, Associate Professor from Amity University, Haryana, the Registrar of Odisha State Open University, Professor Manas Ranjan Pujari, the Finance Officer of Odisha State Open University, Mr. Shadangi, I'm getting continuously disconnected. I don't know if I will be able to continue. Am I audible? Am I audible?
Yes, sir. You are audible, sir. Yes, sir. Audible, sir.
Okay. Uh, I'm really, this is the, I think, 6th or 7th time I have got disconnected. So the technology probably is not supporting me today. So the viewers and listeners and the guests, I would request that you bear with me. At the very outset, I take this privilege to congratulate and compliment every woman who are directly or indirectly associated with the Odisha State Open University, and otherwise also the women as a whole across the globe. I congratulate you on well. So what we find that uh, there was a survey in 2021 in which 156 countries participated, and based on the data and the input received for calculation of the global gender gap based on four major parameters, and that is economic participation and opportunity of the women, educational attainment, health and survival, and political empowerment. It is found that across the globe, the uh, the index with regard to the average distance completed, I mean, uh, it's out of 100 weightage. So far, we have achieved up to 68%. That means there is at least 32% gap is there. Taken all the four factors taken together, And to meet this gap of 32%, which remains today, it will take, at the current pace, it will take about 135 or 136 years from now to bridge this gap. That means to have equal or equality. So, moving forward, with regard to political empowerment, it is found that across the globe, uh, the gap remains at about 78%. And to meet this gap with regard to political empowerment of the women, it will take about 145 years again. And what is more important to know is that with regard to women representation in the political arena, that of 35,500 seats in the parliament over the entire, say, 156 countries, women representation is only to the extent of 26%. Similarly, when it comes to ministerial birth, we find 3,400 ministers, of which the women representation is only 22.6%. And there are 81 countries where no woman head is there till today. Moving forward to the next important gap in terms of the economic participation and opportunity, it is found that the gap is about 42%. And to meet this gap, we have to move for another 267 years. If the current situation persists, then it will take about 267 years to make the women equal with regard to their economic opportunity. But then for the other two parameters like the education and the health, the gap is quite marginal. It's about 5% and 4% respectively. So on these two parameters, I think the equality has been almost achieved. But for the political empowerment and economic participation, there is a wide gap, and several, say, 100 and 100, more than 100 years would be required to match and to bridge this gap. With regard to the countries in the ranking, we find that a small country like Iceland, who is number one in terms of bridging the gap, actually it has achieved more than 92%. On the other hand, like say for example, UK stands at 23 in the rank, Canada 24, US in 30, and as long as India is concerned, in terms of ranking, India's position is 140. It is below 139 countries out of the 156 with regard to the gender equality. So that's a very dismal scene. And if we also move forward in terms of industry representation, we find that women are more taking part in healthcare and social assistance. That is about 75% of the women are there in working in this particular segment, that is healthcare and social assistance. Education about 64.5%. Hospitality and food industry, it's about 48% or 49%. Culture and entertainment, it is about 48% again. Financial service and insurance for 47%, over 47% representation, I mean. And the women representation goes down, down, and down. Finally, when it comes to agriculture, is 24%, utility 21%, transportation about 16%, mining activities 12%, and in construction it is 8%. Well, With regard to India, what is to be seen here is that in the entire workforce, we find the women representation is only 22.3%. But fortunately, if it comes to this university, the Odisha State Open University, the number of employees that we have of in this particular Sambalpur office, I was just taking a statistics today, and we found that of the 76 employees that we have in this office, 30 are male and 46 are female employees. Well, this is one area that probably gives us where the women, I mean, when it comes to gender equality, where the women stand at the moment. So, given this, and given further that there's a worldwide phenomenon that is also observed that uh, at least 1 out of every 5 girls below the age of 18 are getting married, and 1 out of 4, that is about 25% girls are dropping out from this secondary school. And with regard to the income, about 50% of the women are not having a say in the decision making in the family. So, given this kind of a scene, and then coming to uh, look how we really try to bridge this gap for that purpose. Well, I would have a bit of recommendation for that purpose, like uh, particularly the male and the boys for that purpose. They are to really have a different mindset, and it should be more accommodative, more positive towards the women, and also with regard to the employer for that purpose. They also need to create a better work environment. The employees need also to be very need to be having very supportive attitude towards the women employees, and particularly the girls. They need to really feel strong, and they have to have a kind of mindset that they can always perform. I mean, they are no less than others. So what I say that it can be like, no, I can do. So the girls particularly, or for that purpose women, should never feel that they are inferior to anyone, or particularly they are they should not have a feeling in themselves that can I do, or can I perform, or can I lead a life so called with independent thought or independent mind. So these kind of apprehensions should not be there. They are equally competent, they are equally capable, and therefore my recommendations rather will be that every girl and every woman for that purpose must always feel that we are no less than any other person, and we are capable of leading an independent life, in the sense that we are always we can perform. And in fact, there are a number of examples that we also find that there are performers among the women also. So therefore I would feel that uh, uh, each one of us have the responsibility to to uh, see that we have a positive mind, positive thought process. We must also be able to help them and facilitate them, create an environment where the women employees, or for that purpose women, the entire society feels safe, and they feel that they are equally given the opportunity to participate in the development process. With these words, I would uh, thank you, the organizing team, for organizing this particular event. This is very auspicious, and we must therefore realize the significance of the day and the significance of equality with regard to gender. And therefore, particularly, I know I had some technical glitch in the beginning, so I think now the net has become a bit stable. uh, I know there has been some disturbances. So despite that, I from as the head of the institution, I welcome the two guests today, ma'am Minati Bindhani, who I had spoken at least in two or at least one or two other occasions, but had never had the opportunity to get her in a formal platform like this. So I extend a hearty welcome to her, as well as to Dr. Tanushree. She has accepted the invitation to be a part of today's celebration of International Women's Day. And I once again compliment, congratulate, and wish a happy Women Day, International Women's Day. And thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you, sir. It was indeed a beautiful deliberation in a most passionate and informed manner. It's rightly said. Individually, we are all responsible for our own thoughts and action. All day, every day. We can break the bias in our own communities. We can break the bias in our own workplace. We can break the bias in our schools, colleges, and universities. And together, we can all break the bias on International Women's Day and beyond. I would request our esteemed speaker. She is from the field of education. She has 19 years of rich experience in corporate sector in academics. She is a prolific researcher and has presented various papers in different national and international conferences in India as well as abroad. Her training expertise include training and coaching of senior managers, executives, and students. She is a highly motivated trainer with her expertise in training small and target groups. Please welcome Dr. Tanushree Purohit, an eminent educationalist and motivational speaker, Associate Professor, Amity University. Madam, please. Madam, ma'am, your voice is not audible. No, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, Minute, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, madam, you are audible.
Hello.
I think there is some technical issues on the part of our esteemed speaker. And moving forward, and by not wasting our time, I take the immense opportunity to introduce our guest of honor, Mrs. Minati Bindhani. In today's world, when we talk of women empowerment, Mrs. Bindhani is the true figure. A person who works genuinely for the cause of women upliftment, fighting against discrimination. She has 24 years of experience in social service. Currently, she is working as a General Secretary of Women and Child Welfare Society, Cuttack. She has successfully implemented many projects in collaboration with the Government of India, Government of Odisha, different corporate agencies in the field of health, education, environmental awareness, science and technology, women empowerment, child rights, and varied areas. She holds membership in different committees like Red Cross Society, District Road Safety Committee, District Vigilance Committee, etc. I would request Madam to kindly address the gathering. Madam, please.
Thank you, madam, for inviting me as a guest. But I am sorry, I am in the other conference. The closing ceremony will started. So I am just introducing myself. Myself, Minati Bindhani, General Secretary, Women and Child Welfare Society. I am working since 1994 as a woman social worker. So, am I talking in Odia? Hello.
Yes, Madam.
तो आज आम जो महिला दिवस पालन करने जाऊँ महिला माने प्रकृत में बहुत पछरे आम रही जाइचु एबे आम बहुत आगु को आसिलुनी किंतु तथापि आम पछरे अच्छु आम सबुथिरे वर्तमान आमको सरकार आगु को नौचंती आम डिसीजन मेकिंग आम पॉलिटिक्स रे आम पावर आम सब काम को आमको आगु को दिया होची पॉलिटिक्स रे तो देखुछंती आम 50% हमर रिजर्वेशन रहउची किंतु आम तथापि पछरे अच्छु महिला माने आगु को आसी पारु नाहंती से जो डोमिनेटेड हमर मेल रे आम जो रहिछु प्रॉब्लम रे आज पर्यंत आम सेमती होची पछरे रहिछु आम आगु को आसी पारुनु जे हमर मनोबल भी दृढ़ होबा दरकार जे आम केमती आगु को आसीबा आम केमती हमर निजर परिचय निजे सृष्टि करिबा हमर स्किल्ड पावर अछि जो आम ताकु केमती डेवलप करिबा आम निजको सस्टेन करिबा हम सोसाइटी रे ए सब गुडा हम निज ऊपर रहिछि जति जने महिला शिक्षित हबो ताले तार परिवार ता सोसाइटी समस्त शिक्षित होई परिबे सेति पई हमर रहिछि जे गोटे महिला जति मा हेले पाठ होई देश जीव हेबो जीव आगे तो आम समस्त किसी ना किसी रही आम निजको जिते आग को बाहर कर जो आमर रही आम आमको तो किसी आमर भी प्रॉब्लम रखुची आम जिते आज भी महिला गोटे आग को रास्ता को बाहर किसी प्रॉब्लम रखुची तो किसी आमर खराब दृष्टि लोक मैंने देखुं महिला झील मान छोट पिला मानू एक्सप्लोर कराऊँगी से आम समस्ते टिके सचेतन हवा ताले आम समस्त को आम पिला मानू आम पाख पड़िशार पिला मानू आम समस्त को सुरक्षित रखिपर विशेषकर आमर झील पिला मानू तो मोर जो गोटे प्रोग्राम चली गोटे रेभेन्सा यूनिवर्सिटी गोटे एग्रीविजन इंटरनेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस चली तार क्लोजिंग सेरेमनी है आम गोटे ये आमर थिला पीसीआर पेट्रोलियम कंजर्वेशन रिसर्च एसोसिएशन तरफ आम तार मुझे तार एक्सटर्नाल फैकल्टी आमर ओडिशा रे तो ये आम गोटे 3 दिन गोटे एग्जिबिशन भी चली से आम पार्टिसिपेट करूँ जेहेतु आमर क्लोजिंग सेरेमनी स्टार्ट हो गलानी मते टका हेलानी हमको ସେଠି କିଛି ଇଣ୍ଟ୍ରୋଡକ୍ସନ ଦେବା ପାଇଁ ଯେ ଆମେ କାହିଁକି ଏଠି ପାର୍ଟିସିପେଟ କରିଥିଲୁ ସେଥିପାଇଁ ସରି ମୁଁ ବହୁତ ଦୁଃଖିତ ଯେ ଏ ମୁଁ ଯେତେ ପ୍ରିପେୟାର ହେଇଥିଲି ଯେ ଆପଣମାନଙ୍କୁ ଭଲକି ଟିକେ କହିବି ମୁଁ କହିପାରୁନାହିଁ କାହିଁକିନା ଦିଟା ପ୍ରୋଗ୍ରାମ ଏକା ଟାଇମରେ ହେଇଗଲେ ସବୁ ଏମିତି ମିସମ୍ୟାନେଜମେଣ୍ଟ ହେଇଯାଏ ମିସମ୍ୟାଚ ବି ହୁଏ ସେଥିପାଇଁ ମୁଁ କ୍ଷମା ମାଗୁଛି ଆପଣମାନଙ୍କୁ ଅନୁରୋଧ କରୁଛି ନେକ୍ସଟ ଟାଇମ ଯଦି କେତେବେଳେ ଆପଣ ମତେ ସୁଯୋଗ ଦେବେ ଆଉ କିଛି କରିବା ପାଇଁ ମୁଁ ଆମର ବିଶେଷ କରି ରୋଡ ସେଫ୍ଟିରେ ମହିଳା ମାନଙ୍କର ଭୂମିକା କଣ ଆମେ ରୋଡ ସେଫ୍ଟି ଉପରେ ମୁଁ ବହୁତ ବର୍ଷ ଧରି କାମ କରୁଛି ଆମେ ଏଇ ଯୋଉ ପେଟ୍ରୋଲିୟମ କନଜରଭେସନ ଆମେ ଘରେ ଯୋଉ ଏନର୍ଜି କନଜରଭେସନ ଘରେ ରୋଷେଇ କରୁଛୁ ଆମେ ଆମର ଏନର୍ଜି ଏବେ ଯୋଉ ପେଟ୍ରୋଲିୟମରେ କେମିତି ଆମେ କନଜରଭେସନ କରିପାରିବା ମୁଁ ତା ମହିଳା ମାନଙ୍କର ତା ଦେହରେ ଭୂମିକା ତାକୁ ମଧ୍ୟ ମୁଁ କହିପାରିବି କିନ୍ତୁ ସରି ମୁଁ ଆଜି ଆଉ ଅଧିକା ସମୟ ଦେଇପାରୁନି ଆପଣ ମତେ ବହୁତ ଆଗରୁ କଣ୍ଟାକ୍ଟ କରିଥିଲେ ମୁଁ ବି ଇଣ୍ଟରେଷ୍ଟେଡ ଥିଲି କିନ୍ତୁ ଏମିତି ହେଲା ଗୋଟିଏ ଟାଇମରେ ଦିଟା ପ୍ରୋଗ୍ରାମ ହେଇଗଲା ସେଥିପାଇଁ ମୁଁ କ୍ଷମା ମାଗୁଛି ଏବଂ ଏତିକିରେ ରହୁଛି ଧନ୍ୟବାଦ ମତେ କହିଥିବାରୁ କିଛି କହିବା ପାଇଁ
Thank you, madam. Even your 5 to 10 minutes is valuable for us, ma'am. Thank you for giving your time, ma'am. It's really indeed a very, very, very valuable time. Thank you, ma'am. Now, I would like to again introduce our esteemed speaker, very renowned Dr. Tanushree Purohit, an eminent educationalist and motivational speaker. Madam, please.
Can you hear me, Miss Rita?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you hear now?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. So, a very good afternoon to this August gathering. Honorable Vice-Chancellor, sir, esteemed panelists, respected faculty members, and dear students. I'm really thankful for this opportunity to present my views on this important day. So we are, we are still needing a day to celebrate International Women's Day, but it's a positive thing to show that there is work in progress and we are moving ahead progressively towards a more say equal world. So today's date is, dedicated to deliberated across the world to discussions, deliberations on, how to achieve gender equality, empowerment, and how do we finish this bias. So a lot of discussions the whole day. We are into today's sessions. A lot of things are happening across in the university, in our university also, student faculty members involved. So if we look at in contemporary times to reach gender equality and to build a more sustainable society, society needs to focus on more in the power of empowerment, I believe. And it empowerment actually begins at the very, very grassroots level. It's the initial stages of life in our country. If we look at not only the rural setting but also in the urban setting, the aspirations of a girl child when she steps out from a home environment to the initial early ages of education, her aspiration, do we give enough encouragement to their aspirations? Do we ask them, encourage them to visualize their future and develop aspirations in life? So this needs to be rectified, start thinking on this at the grassroots level when a child is developing, the girl child in India is developing. So, and education in the right direction can, give a way forward, stability in their dreams, and in the and make them process them as future leaders. Though there is, I would say, a vast change in the generational dynamics as compared to 20, 30 years back, when women were perceived, the way the women were perceived and their participation in life and the workforce was, the equations were different. But encouragement has, the society, the changing society has motivated to accelerated to give them more chance, equitable chances to go grow ahead. So again, I would say from time immemorial, society has been discussing on gender equality, gender parity, and equal growth. And over the years, there has been changes in societal and organizational perspective. But somewhere the woman is still waging an invisible war, to break the boundaries and reaching the dream. So this war is continuing. This invisible, I would say, invisible war. A woman might have to fight, sometimes with the family, sometimes in the organization, sometimes with the near environment. So this invisible war, which we don't even consider as a fight, but she has to fight and maybe prove herself every day. But in spite of all this, women has taken gradual steps to break the established norms and fulfill their dreams. And we have seen, over the years, women taking up more, say, unusual professional choices, and emerging successful in them. So to achieve this, I would say no societal norms were broken or to fulfill, or they did not, break any kind of a family structure or any, say, contemporary, say, structures in the society. But yes, education has helped them a lot. Education has helped them a lot to reach a position wherein they can, empower 10 other women who are in the close vicinity to them. Having said that, but there is still a lot of physical and verbal violence which is very, very pertinent in the country and in every strata of the society. So as per the data of the National Commission of Women, there is 30% rise in the crimes against women since the previous year, and they were basically related to the live with dignity, and that takes into account the emotional abuse of the woman followed by physical violence. So, but one good thing about is that the crimes are coming in front. There is a rise in complaints shows that women have the courage to come out, speak up about in platforms, in in the society, in the to the maybe the governing police or courts, that yes, the violence, the harassment is being done on them. Initially, they didn't know what they were going through. They didn't realize that what they were going through is actually an abuse. So that has broken, that norms have still broken. They have realized that yes, we need to come out of that vicious circle, fight for our rights, and live a dignified life. Also across the, if you look at past 2 years, there has been, if you have been reading, there has been increased cases of gender related violences, maybe due to the heightened stress, lack of livelihoods, lack of disruption in social and maybe the protective networks. But again, but this situation, the situation, we as women need to look at what are we facing. Is what we are facing, is it an harassment, is it a is it a violation of our dignity? Should we stand against it? So because the violence against women is one of the most pervasive violation of human rights worldwide, and it affects among 1 out of every 3 women or girl in their lives. So what is the how can women come out of this circle, of this vicious circle? So it has been seen, the research has also proved, the women have also proved, and last few years my research into women entrepreneurship in Southeast Asian countries, it has come out that empowerment can significantly reduce the violence against women, the financial autonomy, the bargaining power, the increase in self-esteem can help a woman to have a more dignified life, so that vulnerability to domestic violence is considerably reduced. Again, it becomes actually imperative that women are encouraged to to aspire and aim for a more financial independence. And again, the workplace we work in, as sir said that most of the employees in your university are women, so this is a unique opportunity to help women who may be living at a abusive life or maybe violence at more, identify the problems, assist them in seeking help. Seeking help is very, very important. We women, if we look at general, they sit back, they don't say anything, they don't speak out, thinking what will their own family say, or what will be the society say. But an encouraging workplace, a dynamic workplace, can help in promoting gender equality, and by changing social norms, that condone, or that tolerant that tolerate violence, that can stop. So a dynamic work environment can also help it to come out women from these kind of situations. Also, it is often observed that women who have reached the leadership positions are able to make difference in the lives of the people around them, by providing more employment opportunities, giving them more opportunities to growth, and thus creating a ecosystem which fosters equality and more sustainable future. So our society needs actually more women or in as dynamic leaders, to revolutionize change, inspire men and women to get activated in the progression, give power to people around them, and bring equality in all spheres of life. So though there it is a very lengthy part, and I believe woman herself can do that. It is it's the woman itself who has to take this decision, who has to come out of the shell and fight back, or take out that step and fulfill their aspiration. So, if we again, if we look at talking about leadership, if we look at the India's entrepreneurial sector, the women entrepreneurs have done great job. They are reaching global spheres. They are, uh, devising products and services which are, of global standards and accepted around the world, and contributing significantly to the GDP of the country. And when we talk of entrepreneurship, social entrepreneurship has given wings to women. Not only in the urban arena, but also in the rural sector. If you see the people who have come together and created organizations, self-help groups, and thus empowering 10 other women around them, 20, 30, 40 women are around them. So I believe that social women entering into social entrepreneurship play a significant role in uplifting, women for diverse social from diverse socio-cultural backgrounds. So and it is important that this happens across the country, not only in urban, semi-urban, but across rural arena also. So they needed to show, I mean, social entrepreneurship have shown a way that how women can come together in headship positions, and create opportunities for other women, give them employment, train them, mentor them, inspire them, and and give them a way forward to lead a more sustainable life. And these successful women across the country are writing success stories, and doing considerable important work in empowering the women. So as on this women's day, as a woman, we should look at, go away with the dependency, free our mind and try to think openly that how we can help ourselves, how we can move forward, how we can work towards our growth, how we can reach the top position, and how help how help other women around us to go forward, and do that. That bond needs to be created, that mentorship has to be there. So take up, if you are not working, and if you are say housewife, it's not necessary that everybody goes out and work. It's the empowerment in your life what you are leading. It might be the empowerment of your decision making. It's the empowerment in how you grow up your own child, what kind of values you give, So women need avenues for growth opportunities also when there is break in their career. If we look at India, not only India, across the globe, sometime or the other, woman has to take a backseat in their career. Maybe due to the family pressures, due to childbearing age, or due to any kind of relocation, social. So, what as a society we are doing to give them opportunities to restart their career? So there are n number of avenues to empower them and to empower themselves. Okay, so career is an important phase of women's life. So how corporate institutions, government, across the globe should unite, facilitating women in the positions which for boosting innovation and more innovative things, and more entrepreneurial activities, so that they could prove as drivers of gender equality and economic progress. So another important area is, I would say, to focus on is the well-being of women. Women are themselves responsible for their own well-being. So it is, and when well-being is talked about, it's both the physical and the mental well-being. So we need to take care of ourselves. We need to take hold of our own lives. We should not just sit back and wait for somebody to do it ourselves. Stop that dependency, move out of that dependent circle. So you have to create your own networks, you have to build your own support system and give strength to your own thought process. So I think so let us empower ourselves and empower within ourselves, empower the power within ourselves, I would say. And this could lead to empowering the people around us. So that is all from my side. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for throwing light on the topic beautifully and in a most passionate and informed manner. Rightly said, girls of today are the women of tomorrow. To achieve true women empowerment, it is important to begin with a girl child. As an aware citizen, we must encourage society to work for women empowerment. And it will start with educating girls. Educated girls can make the right decision in life. And if in the society both the genders are well educated, we will see a decreased level of poverty and more participation of women in socio-economic processes for better growth and development. It is rightly said, if a woman is educated, the entire generation gets benefit. So girls have proven themselves in many fields and sectors, and they are doing excellent in these fields due to their hardworking and dedicated nature. They are more talented, obedient, hardworking, and also responsible for family and their life as well. With this and on these platforms, let's pledge to work together with equal right and freedom that can boost self-development, bring positive change in the society and the growth of the national economy. Now I'll request my colleague, Ms. Sagufta Shaheen, to give vote of thanks. Madam, please.
Celebration of the auspicious occasion of International Women's Day, and for this purpose, Odisha State Open University has organized a webinar. As now we have reached to the end of this beautiful celebration, I, Shagufta Shahin, on behalf of Odisha State Open University, would like to deliver a vote of thanks to the esteemed dignitaries, our Honorable Vice-Chancellor Sir, Professor A.K. Das Mohapatra, Chief Patron and Chief Guest, our guest of honor for today's event, Mrs. Minati Bindhani, and our esteemed speaker, Dr. Tanushree Purohit, for giving their valuable time to grace this webinar and make it successful. 8th March, the International Women's Day, represents the rights of women and the importance of women in the world. The feminist movement was started a century back, and the core value of the movement are still in place, and women are still fighting for their rights in almost each part of the world. In a world where men have dominated almost all walks of life, it becomes very important to hold the core values of the moment and further its agenda to create an equal and just society without any gender discrimination and violence. Irrespective of what laws are in place, unless we change our mindset towards women, it will be difficult to create a just society in the world. So it is a noble thought to celebrate a particular day all over the world to recognize the essence of women in our life. Celebrating International Women's Day is not about making women stronger, but it is about changing the way the world perceives their strength. On this note, I would like to conclude and extend special thanks to our Honorable Vice-Chancellor Sir, esteemed speaker and guest of honor, and all the staffs of Odisha State Open University for making this event memorable for us. Thank you, and I wish you all a great day ahead.
Thank you, ma'am. Now we are at the end. We are close to ending the ceremony. So I will request everyone, our Honorable Vice Chancellor Sir, Mrs. Bindhani ma'am, to please switch on your camera so that we can have a photograph together. Ma'am, please. Okay. Thank you all for participating in the webinar and making it a grand success. With the permission of Registrar Sir, shall we end the meeting?
Yes, please. Go ahead.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for giving your valuable time. Thank you all.